elastics off my wrist for you. Hope you're doing well. This is just a nice tarot energy reading check-in post Lionsgate Portal. And before we get to this Leo new moon for this season, I'm not gonna lie to y'all. I just got emotionally triggered right before I started y'all's reading. Trying to let that energy go. I did cleanse the space and cleansed the tarot cards and everything. So let's just see what's coming up for Cancer for you guys. Here lately, spirit guides have had me pulling cards instead of just letting things fall out of the deck, but occasionally something wants to fall out of the deck. We're using our David Bowie inspired Starman Tarot today. Look at that. And I've also got some other decks in here to help us out if we need to. Let's start right off the bat. We've got a Five of Wands and a High Priestess. I like all the green that's coming through these cards for you, Cancer. Cancer, you guys very much, you're a water sign, but that very much, y'all are always known for being so devoted and everything. So that's very much like heart chakra energy, and I'm really seeing a lot of that here. Oh, by the way, real quick, just to throw it out there, all this blue, all these crystals, there is the singing bowl sound healing at the end of this session, specifically working on throat chakra. That seems to be the energy coming through for a lot of the collective today. So at the end of the video, if you feel you would like some singing bowl healing, stay tuned for that. So let's get started with your reading. With this Five of Wands, there's a bit of a need to, it says exert yourself. That's the word it's giving me, exert yourself, which isn't a word I was expecting to really use for this card. I usually say something about like the like wrestling masks and like macho men and like Nacho Libre and stuff like that. It's giving me a very different vibe today. This is implying that you need to be this figure here. He is the more dominant figure out of all of these. Okay, so there's a little bit of something about like domination, like dominating a situation, which is definitely this Five of Wands. There's a bit of competition, and it just said conflict. So you need to exert yourself, Cancer. Nice. It was just showing me the crab symbolism. It's time to put on your shell a bit and exert yourself, because when you have that crab shell, when you put on your exterior bodysuit, which it's wanting me to mention, that's a very specifically like masculine energy. Think about crabs. They have the soft core, the soft center, and then they have their shell. The shell would most definitely be more of that masculine energy, right? Whereas the soft inside is the feminine energy, which is, then we have this beautiful High Priestess, right? It kind of feels like this energy is like protecting this energy, almost like this is like her bodyguard in a way, and it is helping to like fight off some of this energy that's coming in. So you might be feeling like there's a lot of different things kind of coming at you all at once, and it feels like a little bit of defensiveness, but the way that your spirit guides are speaking, it's very much like this is part of your path for you to stand up, and said stand up for yourself, defend yourself, exert yourself, put your willpower into something and stand up for yourself kind of deal. And then with this High Priestess, what I'm sensing is, number one, very much divine feminine awakening possibly coming through. Definitely a lot of intuition. This beautiful like waterfall of light back here is what's really coming out for me. You're not the only one. Okay, and obviously this song just came out and it's floating around the collective, but you're not the only reading in this batch that got this song. The WAP song just came up. This is very much like a cervix, and this is kind of like the waters of life. There's so much feminine energy coming out of this High Priestess today. How do I describe what I am sensing? It's just like, thank you, it's Mother Gaia. Mother Gaia energy. Yeah, just like straight waters of life. Like this beautiful green rainforest is like her womb space, the earth itself as like the womb space. I'm getting the sense that you might be very much more aware of the environment and some nature. Again, you're not the only reading that's had that lately. There's definitely and it just had me look over at, there's a poster on my wall next to my desk and it says, "Don't fuck with Mother Nature." I might have to show you that at the end. It says, "Don't fuck with Mother Nature," and it's got a lot of green and blue and stuff in it too. And it says seriously. So that's what I mean. Okay, there's something in your feminine energy yourself. You might be a mom that's watching this, or this might represent a woman in your life that you feel protective of, type deal. There's something here very much about protecting that beautiful feminine Mother Gaia energy, both on a collective level as like the environment, the earth, and then it's very much this sense of like your heart space, your emotions, your feminine energy. And then it's also kind of in the sense of like almost like two different people. Like this energy is trying to help protect this one. So there's a bit of a mixed message coming through for you guys, Cancer. So take what resonates for you. That's been coming through a lot too. It's like here through Lionsgate, it's like my readings have, usually there's like just a big collective message for each zodiac sign. And now with this batch of readings I've been doing, it's like there's like subsets within each zodiac sign. And it's like the overall message works for these people, but I can tell that there's like a difference of like little energies. And it's just something interesting. And it wants me to mention that to you because you might be noticing the same thing. You might be picking up on like the collective energies, but then also noticing how there's like slight differences between people within the same zodiac sign or the same. There's something here about noticing the differences. Like all these people have slightly different outfits on, but yet they're all these like macho men wrestler people, right? It's kind of like that. It's like you're all wearing slightly different uniforms. You all have a slightly different fighting style or a way of doing things, but at the end of the day, you're all the same. So there's something here about that. It just says something about like the mother of all. Like recognizing the universality, collective consciousness type thing. Okay, it wants me to pull. Let's do one more on this, and let's do one more on that. What's up with this reading? There's just like, it feels slightly directionless. Ooh, nice. We got the Strength card coming out with this Five of Wands. That just really re-emphasized the message that I was talking about like exerting yourself. She's awesome though. It always gives me Thandie Newton from Chronicles of Riddick. She's a very strong feminine figure in that movie, definitely calling a lot of the shots, but she does it behind the scenes. So it's definitely like, okay, as much as there's like this masculine shell, where the real strength is really at is in your feminine energy, which makes a lot of sense to me, Cancer, because you're those water signs. You're very much about the emotion and the intuition. All of that is inner energy, that is feminine energy. But like, it just said, don't get it twisted. Like she's got a hook for one of her hands and she's got this, it says it's a coral snake. It might not actually be a coral snake, but that's what it just gave me. The red and the black. Man, it just gave me, at least here in the South, there's like a phrase where it's like, what is it? Oh God, it's something about snakes. It's like, black next to red, that's your friend. Yellow next to black, step back Jack, something like that. It's like telling you the difference between a venomous and a non-venomous snake. There's something here about this, but I mean, there's like some inner strength. It's like relying on old adages, relying on old truths that you just, it's like your foundation. It's like relying on things that you just know are right, or listening to people or stories or things that just are very clearly solid truth, right? That's part of your strength too. And that's like all that inner wisdom. So where the real strength is coming through is actually from within. And it kind of gets transmuted out though as this outer masculine shell. And that might be where some of this defensiveness comes in. Okay, nice, Spirit. It was like you might feel like some people are misunderstanding the way you're representing yourself, and they might be seeing you more as being like combative, when it's really just like you've got something inside of you that you've been really working on for yourself, within yourself. You've been working on your inner strength. You've been working on exerting yourself. It's like you've been really trying to come out of your shell a little bit. And at the same time, there's like this reinforcement of your shell too. It's a fluctuating energy for you guys. Very much that water energy, very much going with the flow. It literally just showed me like a crab like scuttling on the sand, and how quickly they will like change direction and stuff. And they can live both in the water and they can live in the sand, and they're very versatile. There's something here about being very versatile, and at the same time it's like this slow moving buildup of your inner strength, while also having to face things out in reality. So then you have to put on your shell, and people might misread this shell as you being very combative and defensive, but what it really is you've been working really hard on improving your inner strength, embracing your inner strength, knowing your inner strength, and exerting it in subtle ways. Because Cancer, you're not the kind of person to really be combative. You're not the kind of person to really come out and make a fuss about things, or you're not an overly dramatic kind of person. You very devoted, very caring, like I said. So like everything that you do comes from this inner strength and this inner caring and all this feminine energy. But there's somebody, I feel like, that's just reading your energy the wrong way. And then that might make sense too, where I was saying this kind of feels like someone else's energy. That might be where you've had some friends or family members recognize whatever this is and kind of help stand up for you too. There's definitely the sense of there's other energies that are like trying to support you type deal, but then it feels like there's also some combativeness. Now, you know what I love? Nice, Spirit. It just gave me that song, Get Low, Get Low, Get Low, Get Low, Get Low, Get Low. From the window to the wall. Like, okay, here's the windows and the walls, right? We're in the city, but I love that both of these ladies are like literally like squatting down, grounding themselves, getting down low. That's what the Get Low song was about. It's like dropping your energy. But look at this like crab stance, right? Like that's what I mean. It's like get low, because what happens when you get low, think of that crab, when they bend their legs, it's showing me like exercises, like in a gym and stuff. Like when you're doing squats, it's like kind of like the whole idea of like lift with your legs, not your back, like get low. It's like, or it is showing me like football huddles and stuff like that. Kind of going back to this, it's like you're so much more stable when you're grounded. You're so much more able to move quickly if your knees are bent and you're kind of like down, right? Versus if you're like standing up. There's usually a lot more power and strength that comes out of any kind of athletic pose where your knees are bent, right? Versus if you're just walking around kind of straight-legged. You notice how she's like on her tiptoes like a dancer? It's like, that's the whole thing. It's like, this is where we're really coming from, is this grace and this poise and this inner strength. But when it comes to translating that energy into how to actually work with it, like being up on your toes isn't always the best unless you're dancing, and then you're good, right? But then the opposite of that is kind of this like squat position where it's like, it just said hunker down, like football, like hunker down. Like there's something there about lowering your energy in the, not lowering your energy, just grounding yourself. And grounding, if you're not aware, if for some reason it wants me to tell you what grounding is, grounding would be, you know, getting out of your head, getting all out of your flowy emotions and everything, and really, really sinking down into your physical body. That has very much to do with exercise. So some of you guys might be craving some exercise, literally going outside and walking around with your bare feet, sitting in the grass, just sitting on the earth in general, doing yoga, getting very connected to your physical body. These are all the lower chakras, and your lower chakras are very much about instinct, basic needs, physicality, and dealing with security and things in the real world. Just really appreciating the things that are very much here. And so that's where it's like ground your energy, like get into the present moment, get connected with nature, get connected with your body. These practices will help you align all the other energies so that your mental space and your heart space are more in balance. And that's what this Princess of Swords is about. This is a Page of Swords. You're learning how to communicate and how to strengthen your mind and use your mind so that you're not quite so like all over the place when some of this combativeness comes up. And that's why you need to ground. This is very specifically the swords, which is air, which is very much your mind and your throat chakra and communication. So it keeps pointing out the skull with the light. This is what I mean. It's like you are wanting to communicate, or you have a lot of thoughts. There's a lot of stuff. It feels very bottled up a little bit, like there's just stuff that you're noticing, stuff that you want to say, but at the same time it's like it doesn't feel like it's quite the right time. So that's what I mean. It's like this is where Spirit's like you need to ground your energy. You are receiving a lot of intuition and insight, and you're learning a lot about yourself, and you're learning a lot about spiritual connections and things like that. And this Page of Swords just kind of backs her up to be like, yes, but the page is a young energy. It implies that you are learning. This is a messenger that's here to tell you to ground your energy because you are learning. It just said you are a student right now. So some of you might be students for sure. You are in a learning phase and you need to ground. But this card always reminds me of the scene where Anakin Skywalker jumps off of the pod going through the city and then lands on the other pod. So there's very much this sense of like you're about to jump off into something, but it's not time yet. It's time to ground right now because you're receiving a lot of information and because you're very much building up your shell and your strength. That's what I'm getting. I've had a lot of shell references lately too, about how like little sea creatures will outgrow their shell and they either grow a new one and molt out of the other one, or they go find a bigger shell, or the shell itself will grow. And it was showing me like the inside spiral of the shells and how like it just keeps growing and turning into a more beautiful spiral. So when I say shell, I don't mean shell as in like never come out of it. I mean the shell simply as in like your home, your protection, your body type deal. What is this really about? That's what I want to know. What is this really about? What's the core of this? Okay, you're in a transition phase. That's what's up. Okay, this one kind of wants to stick out, so I'm going to sit it over here. You're in a transition phase, Cancer. This is kind of like a Maori warrior, and he is transitioning basically from one island to another. This is kind of like a sea of liquid gold. There is kind of a hole right here where it's like it could possibly be treacherous and dangerous, and that's what you're kind of feeling. Yeah, that's where, okay. I was saying like something feels directionless or something is very much about versatility. It's like that's all in this card right here. Like there's a lot of transition stuff happening in your life. Mentally, emotionally, and probably in reality as well, or you're expecting it to start showing up in reality, right? But you can sense a lot of stuff coming in, and that's why Spirit is telling you to ground. Because if you focus on every little feeling and thought that's coming in, and especially if Spirit's talking to you right now, which I'm sure it has, Lionsgate Portal has been very, very busy when it comes to the Spirit signals. Like, if you are picking up a lot of that stuff and you're like holding on to it. It's too distracting. It's too much. And if you're allowing stuff to trigger you and it's putting you in this combative state, you need to recede more into this inner strength and just know that Spirit is working with you. And this is Spirit telling you that you're in a transition period. This is a young warrior, a young masculine energy. So he is being trained up. He is going through a couple of little tests to prove his worth, prove himself, both to the elders and to himself. There's Spirit breathing some messages at you, greeting you along the way. This is definitely more like Tiki, Polynesian inspiration, but it's also bringing up the idea of like totem poles. You might have some spirit animals and stuff that are really speaking to you. You know, we do have these lions. It is Leo season, so there's that. But you might definitely have some. It keeps saying totem, which a totem isn't just an animal. A totem can be all kinds of things. A crystal. If you think about that movie Inception, how they had little metal pieces to help remind them when they were in the dream and stuff. Like a totem, a charm, a keychain, anything that helps keep you in line. That's kind of what it's bringing up, and that might help with your transition. For some reason, it just brought up the idea of a bath, which is great for all water signs, especially. So, you know, making some kind of bath ritual at the end of the day to decompress from some stuff. That might be something too. Okay, ooh, nice, Spirit. For some reason, it just brought up floating therapy. So if you've never heard of, or you're not sure if you should maybe try a couple of different things, it brought up floating therapy, which is simply when you get into the water baths. There's really expensive spas that have this, you know, super awesome salt chamber, and you lay in the salt water and you float, and it's like magnificent. And I haven't actually gotten to do one day like that, but let me just say that I totally did some float therapy in my own bathroom, in my bathtub, and I had visions and I had like some moments and stuff, and it was wonderful. It really is a great way to meditate because you become weightless. And that's kind of what it's wanting me to say, is like you might need to maybe really get into your element, and along with grounding that energy, think of like taking the weight off of yourself. Think of some floating therapy in that way, just really connecting with water and earth. I'm feeling for you, Cancer, is like what you really need right now. Yeah, very much like how babies float in an amniotic sac when they're developing. It's like the same thing for meditation for us, right? Like if you get in that bathtub, if you have a bathtub big enough that you can fill it up and kind of float a little bit, or if you can get into a pool or anything, like it wants you to float. Nice. It just gave me the Modest Mouse song, Float Along. All right, already we'll all float on. All right, yeah, that kind of stuff. That song's great too, because it's just about like getting through your day. There's even a line where he talks about like backing into a cop car, and of course you're waiting for it to be something bad, and he goes, well, he just drove off, sometimes life's okay. So that's what I mean. It's like there's encouragement to float along. You're definitely in this transition phase, so it's wanting you to both ground and go with the flow, as in let some things go, meditate, do things that just be versatile right now. What's up with this? Yes. This Judgment card, it really wants me to like stick it up here like a pyramid kind of. That's what I mean. There's some build up. You're moving towards something. You're kind of excuse me. I had a hiccup there. It's like you're kind of, let me just check my screen. Yeah, you can see that. It's like you're building up to something. It's like you're in that transition phase and you're putting all the pieces together, having to be a little bit defensive in the meantime. It just brought up something about manifesting. It's like you might be trying to manifest something, and you might be running into some triggers and stuff, and so that's why like there's some things shifting within you for sure, Cancer. And this Judgment card is a really interesting Judgment card. It's definitely usually about like spiritual awakenings, your higher calling coming through, making a judgment call yourself, like a big choice that comes up, but very much is tied to fate and destiny and all of those things. So, and what I love about this card is there's technically, like, these were the walls of like a box that this guy was standing in, and that pose that he's doing like that, it's like he just blew all the walls and the ceiling and the floor off of this thing. Interesting. I had that I had an NSYNC song in my head today, and it just came back up for this card. It was that song, Bring in the Noise, Bring Down the House, We Came Here to Turn the Party Out, so come on, let's raise the roof type deal. That's what this kind of feels like. You're about to blow the roof off of something. You're about to bust out of a box. You're about to break out of whatever some confining things are. I just said breaking out of your shell. So it's like you're simultaneously learning how to build up and use your shell, but then you get to break out of your shell. There's such mixed symbolism for you, Cancer. It just wants me to keep saying for you guys, take what resonates. Some of you might be building up a shell. Some of you might be working on coming out of the shell. Some of you guys, it feels like it's like you're literally just learning about your shell and how to use it. It's like, okay, nice. It just gave me the game's Fallout, and something just grabbed my right knee. So this is a masculine energy coming through. You know how in video games you get like a power armor suit and things like that? When you equip those suits onto yourself in the video game, they have a weight to them, right? Like they weigh like 50 to 100 pounds on your character sometimes. And that can be kind of limiting. You're trying to walk around with this big armor suit on, and it weighs a lot, and it has its pros and cons to it, right? Like it for sure helps you not get killed in your video game, right? But it weighs a lot. And so then there are times where you might opt to take off that armor suit and wear something different on your character, because it just makes sense at that time, right? It's kind of one of those things too. It's like you're learning when to put the shell on, when to take the shell off, how to use it, what are its capabilities. Okay, but it's also got all this extra weight on me, and I don't feel like dealing with that right now. There's a bunch of stuff here with this Judgment card where it's like you're gonna get to blow all of that open, and you're gonna get to shine, and you're gonna get to come out of your shell in a good way. But it's like in the meantime, part of your lesson is learning about your shell. It just brought up another song for me. It's from Flyleaf, and it's called I'm Sorry. And it's actually a song about child abuse. So if that's not, it doesn't, it's bringing up like the emotions of that, but it's not like a full-on message that some of you have experienced that or anything. So if that's not you, then dismiss that. But the line that it keeps saying me, and it says, it's the chorus, it says, I close my eyes, embrace myself. I can't remember the second line. It says, no matter what, you're going to build my shell. And then later on, there's another one that says, no matter what, you're going to break my shell. And there's something here about those shells. It's like that, like I said, that simultaneous buildup and breaking down of shells. But this one feels like you're working on it for yourself. And you certainly shouldn't allow other people to affect you and your boundaries. This is all about you learning about your own little personal shell, Cancer. What's some good luck? I brought this Elvis deck in for good luck. What's some luck through this that you might need to help guide you? That's the one. Whew, nice. Y'all got all kinds of luck. Okay. You can use playing cards as tarot cards, by the way. So what happens when we get a joker then? A joker is like a wild card. It is the luckiest card in the deck. Now there's a black joker in here and there's a red joker. The black suits of the playing deck represent clubs and spades, which is swords and wands. Here's your wands. You got lots of swords too. That's what I mean. So both within your mind and within your spirit, or possibly within like communications, career, job, money, that kind of sphere. there's a lot of luck coming through. And this, I was talking about spirit animals. This big old eagle might also kind of help you. I just threw it in my lap. Just threw it in my lap. That's what I mean. It's like this luck. Oh, nice. I like that. It said like this luck is going to land in your lap. And that's part of where I feel like this card really comes in later. Because it feels like you're just kind of, it said just dealing with it right now. And there's kind of this thing of like, just wait for it to fall in your lap. It just did a little eagle cry. It's like the eagle's gonna fly over and like drop something in your lap and then like fly off. That's like a straight spirit message of like spirit's about to drop something in your lap that might surprise you, that's gonna really, that you might really enjoy. This is I mean, that's what I'm saying. This is a good luck card. This is Elvis in Vegas with that big eagle suit on. Like, we're talking money, we're talking opportunity, we're talking recognition, we're talking anything to do with that swords and that wand suit. Like, you're gonna have and it just said breakthrough. You're gonna have a nice breakthrough, a nice lucky break, and it's gonna drop in your lap. And that's what it just said I'm done. Like, that's it. Yeah, like the message just like ended. So Cancer, that's what I've got for you. I hope that my dog just barked. We're done. Okay, so I hope that resonates for you. If you feel like you need to stay tuned for the singing bowl at the end, just it's coming up right next, and I'll catch you guys later. Thank you. Okay, so if you're still here, you're here for your sound healing, music healing. This is specifically a sound bowl for the throat chakra. It's just a little singing bowl, nothing too fancy, but I do love the sound of it. So we're just going to work on this beautiful blue throat chakra, also third eye chakra, that whole entire area, and kind of clear out those vibes. One more. And there we go. Thank you so much for staying. Hopefully that helps you out. Hope you feel better, and we'll catch you guys later.